Hi everybody, there are thousands of productivity tools and strategies out there, and I've tried a lot of them. Very few stick, and even fewer actually work for anyone. In this video, I'm going to share the 3 essential and simple strategies that actually stuck and worked for me. They are the basics of the most effective life operating system, if you will, that I've found to stay organized, escape my overwhelm, and get things done. So stick around and let's see if we can give you some of your valuable time back for the important stuff by solving 3 questions. Where are you heading? What are you doing next? And how can you best do it? But first, let's be honest for a moment. That latest to-do list app or personal productivity tool is always useless unless you actually practice and know and hold that right behavior and habit to make it work in the first place. I've been saying it on this channel for years, and that is what I want to focus on in this video. It's what really made my system bulletproof. So let's start with those strategies, and maybe later we can talk about some tools to help you. So I think life is filled with competing goals, priorities, and distractions, and it's hard to know where to start. Overwhelm, for me at least, has always come from that feeling of lacking clarity or control, and then some decision paralysis. Let me know in the comments if you recognize that. If you're here, you probably do. And the key to addressing this is not just setting goals, but then also keeping them front and center at all times. Look at this famous quote from Bill Gates. I want us to actually rework this quote to apply to our daily life even more effectively, so that it reads, most of us overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do in a year. So goal setting can come in many forms, but there are 2 forms that work best for me and I think can do for you too. Clear daily and yearly goals. So if you can always be focused on managing both with good habits, the effect is really remarkable. Here's how to do it. So first, setting inspirational yearly goals. These ensure the little actions that you take always add up to the big results that you want. Now, once I started actually taking proper time to set goals for the year and displaying them front and center where I regularly work, I found I could more easily prioritize what actually I spend time on today. And it even meant I essentially deleted the non-essential stuff with some confidence. So goal setting can reduce your to-do list for the day drastically. Trust me. It's worth it. Now, there's many ways to do it. I've got a full guide video on goal setting if you want to go deep, but just keep it simple here. Try setting yourself just 3 or 4 goals to keep track of across the year and spread them, I recommend, across life areas. For example, 1 big goal for your business or career, 1 for life and family, and 1 for your personal well-being and health, say. Write them as if you've already achieved them and make them ambitious but believable. Now, I do this in my goal setting page in my Notion organization system based on a guided life reflection, but you can also keep it simple, do it on a pen and paper and just stick them above your monitor or wherever it is that you work. And I love that they also can then be displayed personally on my daily planning page in Notion, so I always see them. So in this stage, that's the lesson. If you don't know where you're heading and actively focus on it, you'll always risk dropping into that useless or busy work. Okay, so you know where you're headed, but that means nothing if you don't know what to do next. At worst, you have no idea and find you get lost in that busy work that doesn't really move any needles or get anything to happen. Let me know if you recognize it again. So it is time to focus on today and what to do, which leads us to step 2, getting organized and claiming your time back on the day. But I'll warn you, I'm actually going to ask you to add 20 minutes to your day to achieve this. How to set a clear daily focus and stick to it. There are many ways to set priorities or focuses, but by far the most effective I've found is this. Simply ask yourself one essential question. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And that's Gary Keller in his famous book, The One Thing. Now, I think many of us plan too much into a day, and before we know it, we've spent hours on a few bits of busy work that don't actually do anything. And remember, until your one thing is done, everything else is a distraction. Trust me. So if you can live by that mantra of the one thing each morning, you'll be amazed by the results. Now, yes, I know it isn't that simple. There are always competing needs, right? Family, admin, work projects, and the rest. But if you can stubbornly ensure that at least you have 2 hours, say, of your day purely focused on your one thing, whether it's at work or in your business or in life, things really do change and fast. To do this, I recommend time blocking a deep work session in your calendar and call it Do Today's One Thing. Have a place you trust to keep your task list that allows you to filter and sort by importance and urgency, check out this time matrix view, to ascertain and highlight one thing task each day. I do it in my Notion Life OS system, a template I built out to make sure that the time I spend working is always focused on the right thing. And you can find out more about that at bettercreating.com if it tickles your fancy and you don't already know about it. So yes, it's a good step, but we also need to ensure that we always take time to identify and get right what the one thing is. And that's where those extra 20 minutes that I warned you about will come in, maintaining your system with a daily reset. So I truly believe that the simplest organization system that works for you is the best one. Don't overcomplicate it. But even more important is that you maintain it. So if you don't consciously reassess and reorganize your plan, you can easily lose track of your goals and actions and be back where you started, in overwhelm, confusion, and busy work. So the 20-minute reset at the end of each day works like this. Think about it. What if you gave yourself just 20 minutes to reset your to-do list and plan for the next one? Now, I recognize that me saying take another 20 minutes out of your already hectic and busy, overloaded schedule might be having you reeling, but give it a chance. I found that losing those minutes can in turn gain you hours. It means you can do less, but more of what actually makes a real difference. So this is the idea. Every day you should review and clean up your to-do list, wherever you keep that, and then leave a clear plan for the next day. And it should be waiting for you where you want to start in the morning. Now, I love doing this in my analog to-do list system from Ugmonk. It's a bit spenny, but it's worth it. I like it. And they've just released a new one, which you should check out soon. Or you can do it in Notion or just on a piece of paper. But I personally find I get to work faster and begin with clarity and confidence when I've done this. I don't get lost in time in the morning, just working out what I should be starting on. And before you know it, again, you're in a kind of hazy mess. Try it, it's amazing. And here's how I recommend doing it. Each evening, first, check off any tasks you completed and celebrate them from your list. Next, add any new tasks to your list that came up during the day. I use an inbox in my Notion setup to do this, and then process them by asking yourself that classic David Allen question. Do you want to do it now? Takes a minute or less. Defer it to another day, or delegate it to someone else. Can you do that? Then once you've done that, you can defer and delegate anything that you didn't get done in the day in your current list, so that everything is sorted. Finally, and most importantly, reorganize and set your plan for the next day. Taking a quick look at those big goals and asking the big questions. What is the one thing that if you did now would make everything else either pointless or unnecessary? And set where you will focus your time on that in your calendar. Time block out the time and away you go. Again, I call this deep work from Cal Newport's brilliant book. That stage is all about learning to identify and commit to one thing a day that moves you towards your goal, and it's an essential habit that you really should try to build. But that's not it. You now know where you're going and what to do to get there, but we also are still missing the how, the knowledge, expertise, and clarity you need to do something well. And that comes with step 3. It's time to embrace the undervalued power of a personal knowledge system. So tell me if you recognize this. Over the years, I've often felt a bit blocked starting or finishing big tasks due to the lack of clarity or confidence on how best to go about them. Sure, I used to take notes, snip articles to help me, but more often than not, I'd never look at them again, or even worse, I'd want to look at them, but I'd have totally forgotten where I put them. And so the single biggest unblocker of those frustrations has been for me to actively build a knowledge hub. This is a single place to capture, organize, and then later resurface the information that you need at the right time for whatever I'm working on. Sounds good, right? And this is one of the main reasons I use Notion databases as my organization hub. I'm able to automate and send information into it and then link those clippings, Kindle quotes, personal notes directly back to the projects and tasks that I'm working on. And so the best way I recommend to do this is create yourself a digital second brain in whatever platform works for you. A place to hold ideas, and organize them. Now, this can be as simple as a database for capturing references and quotes, and then a second that's linked to it for planning and tracking your projects that relate to it. So that's input and output. And by filtering a view of that knowledge by each project, you always have what you need in front of you. Check out services like Readwise that help you filter Kindle highlights, web clippings, even podcast snips in my Snipped app, all into one place. And then it feeds, if you want, directly into certain knowledge services like my Notion LifeOS system. So by building a system to capture and resurface that information, you then have what you need at your fingertips, and it transforms how easy it is to get things done, but more importantly, to contribute with a higher level of quality and precision. But there it is, the 3 essential steps to getting organized more easily. Know where you're headed, what action to take next, and how to do it more effectively. Let me know in the comments what you make of it and what you'd like to add or change. I'd love to hear from you. And so your next step is setting up, however simple, a second brain for yourself. And to do that, all you need to do is click on this video next for the basics of creating a personal knowledge capture system, or click on this one for a full tour of my Notion LifeOS. Click on my face to subscribe if you haven't, and by clicking that bell notification, I'll see you on the next one too. See ya.